Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting my invitation on behalf of Positive Wellbeing Association. I welcome you on the Positive Psychology platform. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Oh, thank you for asking me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. I'd just like to initially, obviously, ask about how would you summarize a review of laughter yoga? It's a fairly new, innovative sort of concept that not many people know about. So how would you review it in terms of children and adults? And yes, we'd like to know a bit more about it and your summary.
Sure. So laughter yoga as a concept is a newer concept. It was brought sort of to the world by Dr. Madan Kataria, who was a doctor in India, and he was investigating basically, laughter is the best medicine. If it really is, how do you go about that? And so it sort of started as sort of getting together a group of people in a park and it being joke, people telling jokes. And then they realised that after a while the jokes ran a bit stale and what one person finds funny, the other person doesn't. So they decided to have the sound. There's an echo here, I'm not sure if you've got that. Anyway, they basically, Madan Kataria and his wife Maduri went away and came back with combining her yoga practice of breathing and some simulated laughter exercises, and together that's what became laughter yoga. And laughter as medicine is not a new concept. It's been used for centuries. I mean, back in the day, they used to call them the court jester in medieval times before they did the doctor. And then you've heard about clown doctors, and you've heard about humour therapies, so people sort of literally laughing themselves well. The difference between laughter yoga and all of the other type of laughter therapies is laughter yoga does not rely on humour. It's these simulated laughter exercises together with clapping ho, ho, ha, 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 and together with deep breathing. And it's generally conducted in groups, but not necessarily. You can do these exercises by yourself. And what happens is that in no time at all, these simulated laughers become real in no time at all.
Okay, that sounds absolutely amazing to see the differentiation between laughter yoga and obviously what laughter therapy is all about, and to know that there are certain triggers in which you can actually create a whole sort of a group exercise involving laughter yoga. So that's very intriguing to see where it started from and where the sort of foundations that lay for laughter yoga and how it's really become a type of, real sort of evidence-based science, really, in which you can trigger and have that sort of real sort of whole environment
response. Well, that's right. And I mean, that's what there's been, over the years, there's been quite a lot of research conducted around the health benefits of laughter. There's been less so about laughter yoga, but as you say, that is because it is a newer concept. And the wonderful thing is that certainly in some of the research that I've conducted research into patients on dialysis and also aged care, people in aged care facilities, so an older population, that even though it begins as a simulated laugh, in no time at all, we have the same physiological responses as people who just sort of were getting together, watching a funny video, or a humour-based therapy. So it's really encouraging, and the fabulous thing is we can all laugh, and sometimes it's at times when we're going through challenging times, for example, that it can be really difficult to laugh because you're waiting for something funny to happen. You're waiting for things to improve. But the wonderful thing about laughter yoga is that it's a modality that enables you to laugh for no reason other than to get, the sort of tune into those happy hormones, to get your dose of happiness, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. And that's one of the beauties about laughter yoga, as I say, that you don't have to wait till your best friend comes around to have a giggle.
So that's fascinating to know that obviously there's certain triggers that would actually then trigger the laughter yoga, and obviously those triggers can be actually used amongst anyone. Obviously, if you have the right expertise and the right facilitator to do so, laughter yoga is something that's doable and everyone can do, even in sort of those people who are extremely sort of experiencing really high risk health problems as well. So that's fascinating to know that.
Yeah.
How can you say positive psychology practitioners can practice the laughter yoga for optimal functioning within young children and adults? Because it's a new concept, and obviously it's something that people are sort of slowly being sort of attracted to. How
Yes.
can positive psychology practitioners make it something that it becomes a sort of a sort of a practice that they can then implement within their sort of their understanding and convey it to the general public or general sort of their day-to-day sort of clientele? How would you say they can implement it for optimal levels of functioning within children and adults?
Sure. I mean, listen, any person who has, gone through a facilitation process can facilitate it. I know that's not what you're asking. Essentially, what I sort of look at laughter as part of a broader philosophy that it sort of slots into that umbrella of positive psychology. And really it is a branch of what I term experiential positive psychology. So you're actually laughter is it's an active way to create a positive mindset. So and it's an extraordinary quick way to de-stress and release those happy hormones. And over time, by bringing a conscious level of awareness to choosing to laugh, so you're actually like some of the other positive psychology strategies where you have that aspect of choice, and you have a particular tool that you keep on relying on to create a different change in behavior. So too you can do that with laughter. So over time, a practitioner who may incorporate some laughter yoga into their work with clients will most likely find that the clients will actually find more reason to laugh. So it's like similar to looking for the good, seeking the good. The practice, for example, with Professor Seligman, the three things that went well in your day. So you're actually starting to look for the good things that went well in your day. Over time, you actually find reasons to laugh. You sort of unblock that. A lot of people, adults, tend to, over time, they tend to switch off their laughter mechanism. They start to get much more of a conscious sort of thought attachment to laughter, like, should I be laughing now? What will people think of me? Oh no, I'm in a serious job now, I'm not going to laugh. So over time, from when children used to laugh, without boundaries and in so much joy and love, over time, adults tend to shut down that laughter.
Okay, no, that's a very valid point, that obviously adults seem to create more barriers for expressing
Right.
emotion, a positive emotion of laughter, whereby in children you see, even the younger children, they tend to smile and show sort of like such positive emotions that
Right.
at a sort of momentary moment, and that's something that comes to them naturally, whereby I suppose with age that's a bit more reluctant expression of it. But however, by actually conducting the whole sort of concept of laughter yoga, could you elaborate on some key points of laughter yoga, and could you give us a bit of a taster session of one of your sort of like key activities that really sort of trigger that positive emotion of laughter?
Well, any and all activities, exercises, as I say, these simulated laughs will do it. So, for example, it really depends on the group. So, for example, if I'm working with children, I might have more of an emphasis on play. If I'm working with older adults who are living in residential care, I might have more of a sort of fine motor skill based or gross motor skill based laughter. If I'm working with people who are, I don't know, socially isolated, I might sort of work on laughs that sort of get more of, you know, social interaction. But essentially, I mean, all laughter sessions start off with the premise that everybody's equal. Everybody is the same. So whether that you're doing it in the corporate sense, and you've got, you know, the CEO, and when you've got, you know, receptionists, everybody's the same. So you'll start with a greeting laugh, and you'll go around, and you know, eye contact is really important. And you'll go to them, and it's like a, you know, you'll greet them in the manner of laughter, in namaste. So you know that beautiful, peaceful interaction, but with joy. And then after everybody's greeted one another, then everybody sort of stands and where they are, and they chant ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha for a while, which is great because that stimulates the acupressure points. And everybody knows that clapping is associated, you know, with that, those feelings of excitement. So you're changing your physiology in that way. And then the breathing, that's where the yoga aspect comes in, that you're sort of really, you're breathing in and then out in preparation for the next laugh. And it's also the other aspect of the, I suppose, the unity with laughter is that when you're laughing, you're very much anchored in the present moment of that laugh. You can't be laughing and thinking about your troubles. So it's the same concept, you know, with the brain. You can't be in a negative and a positive mindset at the same time, which is where, you know, lots of the positive psychology strategies have so much merit, because they are orienting people to, you know, focus on, you know, the micro moments of joy, focus on things that went well. So what we're doing is we're getting people to have this experiential, you know, with the laughter. So that's very yeah, it's just an amazing modality, and then there's more playful laughs that you could do. So I'm talking to a computer screen at the moment. It seems a little bit silly, but you know, you could pretend, you could get, you know, pretend mobile phone laugh, and you know, that could be a thing that you do with the group. So you know, you're going around the group and everybody's having an hilarious conversation with you know, one of the funniest people in the whole wide world, even if it's themselves, and it's and you're sort of walking around and trying to get people to engage, and that's essentially what laughter yoga is all about. It's about getting people to come together in, you know, in the parameters of laughter, to have fun, to have joy, even if you don't know anybody. When you first start, you know, the group, there's something very powerful about laughing and you know, sharing smiles with people. It's you know, as Victor Borg said, it's the shortest distance between two people, and you really feel it. So, you know, as I say, whether you're working in a corporate sense or whether you're working in a healthcare setting, it's the same concept. It's this. We seem to see that there's a commonality of physiological, emotional, and social health benefits using laughter yoga, no matter the demographic.
Okay, that's amazing to hear that you know, it sort of has a ripple effect, the whole sort of concept of laughing itself, and obviously the facial expressions, it gives out that sort of positive vibes that the other person is more inclined to actually then adapt and actually show that emotion as well. And by doing simple sort of role play activities that activate and trigger that laughter emotion is obviously something that laughter yoga facilitators like yourself do a magnificent job of doing so. So it's amazing to hear that obviously the key points, you know, the benefits that laughter yoga has to reap, and how it's proven that it is a step into towards a positive well-being. Where would you say the future of laughter yoga would be leading us towards obviously positive well-being for all? So by obviously, you know, the whole sort of concept of where we are now, how do you think we would be in the next 4 to 5 years with laughter yoga? Because like it's a very new concept, and obviously it's something that is working, because people like yourself who are in the domain, they're doing such magnificent job, and they're actually getting the laughter yoga concept, or getting them out there within those sort of much needed communities and much needed sort of people within a healthcare settings. So it is something that is beneficial and very imperative. Where do you see it going in the next 4 to 5 years?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't have a magic ball to sort of say, but there's no doubt the popularity. I mean, there are now thousands of laughter clubs worldwide. It's quite phenomenal. And the thing is that the reality is that our world is going through a challenging time. I mean, the world's always gone through a challenging time, and I think that people. I think that there is just so much negativity out there that people are looking for fresh ways to be able to cope. And laughter, it's such a freely accessible thing. I mean, anyone can laugh, and it's a universal language. It doesn't matter whether you're Chinese or Italian. You can laugh. You can laugh with one another. There's no language barrier. So I think that the fact that we are going through much more tumultuous time, people are really turning to things that work. And these laughter clubs wouldn't be springing up overnight, like mushrooms, really, if it didn't work. So, people are looking for community. People are looking for ways to socially connect in a healthful way. People are looking at ways to even improve their physical fitness. Well, guess what? Laughter is a very aerobic activity. It can do that as well. People are really looking at ways in which they can boost their own sort of endorphins and feelings of well-being when, there are so many things that might be competing with that. So all I see is an exponential growth, which has already been demonstrated over the past sort of, 10 or so years. And yeah, I see it just keeping on growing and used. And what I really hope to see is that not just that it's at a community level, but it's actually used in a more therapeutic sense in hospitals, for example, for patients with cancer, for elderly, for people who are socially isolated. So really taking such a simple philosophy and really spreading that sort of joy and health benefits at a wider level.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that that actual conclusion. The fact that it's such an imperative part of our positive well-being, and how it can be captured by certain health institutions to actually better the daily sort of health risks that people face, and certain sort of age-related people can benefit from that as well. So it's nice to know that there are alternative forms of medicine and remedy out there, whereby if it's done and facilitated in the right manner, it can really benefit society as a whole. And I feel that it's really imperative to actually start bringing these concepts to light, to the public out there, to say, actually, what, there are alternative methods of therapy that actually do work, and you can really reap the benefits of it. And it's nice to know that you can take that whole sort of concept of laughter yoga and your intriguing points that you've made throughout the whole interview, and how you can sort of conceptualize it into a very sort of practical and in a manner whereby it's actually contributing towards better living, better social skills, emotional skills, and a better psychological well-being for everyone out there. So thank you so much again, ma'am, for joining us. And I thank you again on behalf of Positive Wellbeing Association. Thank you for your time.